Soji Chuna Lai Chanju Bade Dani Chasuji Dagi Jinsu Jibi Suna Dola Penji Sanji Dubai Shoya Sanji Chuna Soji Chuna Lai Chanju Bade Dani Chasuji Dagi Jinsu Jibi Suna Dola Penji Sanji Dubai Shoya Sanji Chuna Soji Chuna Chanju Bade Dani Chasuji Dagi Jinsu Jibi Suna Dola Penji Sanji Dubai Shoya Nyen Thamalera
First of all, Tashidele to everyone, greetings everyone.
Ani Tasharanzo Saja Ani Kasakanile Giresra Lady Sundang Ani Delachi Chutuni Yen Le Vesra Lenzana Nima Hasidile Kanzumole Disotola Madaba Hudabadasing Kayunchi Chiburella.
So you have all come from different and far places, and you have invested time and money, and you have put in the effort to come all the way here to listen to this teaching. So with the time that we have for 5 days, let us make sure that this duration that we have, it will not go to waste, and that we put in the effort that is required to get an understanding of this teaching.
Ani nganzu tama tachi kalo toba kare na karkadu tuye na ani nganzu ina kan hechi he la na nganzu ge kalo da tiso chola mata me ngoni ani kanso la shigwe inde ba ji mi jura undi tama kan kare shigi internet des gudu nganzu ma tiwati ani kan ge soso na ngati go del teri tiso de de drone nga dinde ji jango do ngati kangi di se tapje tango so so toba kare na nganzu la la chisra.
So, without wasting time and then without standing on ceremonies, I would like to encourage you to be forthright with any questions or doubts that you have, and feel free to ask them. And before we begin this teaching, I would like to hear from you any doubts, any expectations that you have from this course, or any questions that you have before we begin this course. So feel free to ask any questions or doubts or anything you want to share before we begin the teaching.
Ani kono singo tsunura.
Mojo shina mara la mo.
Mojo che ani ngadi dileta rile goe ni rojura. Tene ila no.
So why don't we introduce ourselves and then try to share what kind of expectations that we have coming into this teaching. So one by one, why don't we introduce ourselves and try to share the expectations that we have from this teaching.
Hi everyone, I'm Sophia. I'm Dr. I've done teachings with Geshema before, and it's for me always very, very nice to be in a group and go through a text and just having it inside of my head when I'm reading certain things, and being able to ask questions and also hear reflections from others, especially to integrate it or try to integrate it in my own life. So I'm very happy that I'm surrounded by like-minded people. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Diksha. I am from Delhi. I'm here to learn. This is my second retreat, and I look forward to it. Thank you.
My name is Matilda. I was born in Germany, and I'm here to just deepen my knowledge about Tibetan Buddhism, because I did one course in Nepal, which was very inspiring and the teachings felt very home, kind of. So I want to know more, and especially I would love to receive some
silent participant for today. I'm not registered in the course. I'm just curious, and if I see that this is something for me, I will attend.
Hello, I'm there, and I'm here to learn a little bit more about Bodhisattva and compassion. Hi, I'm Sifan, and I joined the first retreat, shamatha meditation, and I felt like it's so good deepening to continue with this. And I'm open, I have no expectations at all, I'm very open and very interested to see what will come and arise from the room, from everyone, how the sharing will be.
Hello, I'm Philip. I'm also from Germany, and I would also like to hear from a teacher more than I can understand from the text itself.
Hi, I'm Gali. I'm from Israel. I think my expectations are to learn, and here to learn, and to deepen my understanding. Yeah.
Hello, my name is Edward from England, and I'm here because I was very interested in Buddhism, especially Tibetan Buddhism. And I think it's possible to get a more relevant understanding with a group where we're all together with the same intentions. And it's like immersive. So that's very exciting.
Hey everyone, my name is Yuval. I'm also from Israel. And I'm coming from a background with mostly Western philosophies, which is pretty different, but lots of similarities. And yeah, I'm here to expand my knowledge and understand a little bit more.
Hi, my name is Leslie, and I'm from the States. And I really just wanted to, I don't think I have any expectations as much as wanting to deepen my understanding of the 37 practices of the Bodhisattva outside of an kind of an academic study of it and a personal study of it, just in this atmosphere in Thosamling and in Nunnery, and for a monastic to get a deeper understanding in a group setting before starting like a new career in service, a new path in my life. I thought this would be a perfect training for that beginning, and to understand how to incorporate the 37 practices of the Bodhisattva into a lay person's life.
Kashigi, the Mangchedoigi, Nimatakwalara, the Giselalin Sodumati, Mise, Nindarishi, Susumizina, and Disputangore, Di Chik Koajiletuna Abudus. Any Kashilana, Nataringdela, ni Tagastagalis, Daring Kisituado Jilena, and Sanini Yungis. And Kashigilana, Di Tandangazo, Pejaira, Pejarana, Tisha Yulava, and Geshema Dawa Sonjudo Jishutuna Yagadus. Ni Shinda Tatandangazo group China Yam to Dedera. Tindegi Kuruchina and Anzo the Pejatana Troa Che on Sare de Delays. Manchi Rutin.
She's done a lot.
So Geshema is going to introduce herself too.
You know, I forget Laura. Any Yemila Dawa Dolma Yesra, and the Leviticity, Domining the Chewing, and the Dochilla and Geshema Tembai, and the Dochugula Chilan Hat and Hada Chazan Tembai, and the Thosamling and the Gypsy Nation. Develop Sholani, Marangi, the Geshema Chiki Shola, and develop Pida, Nacho Dawada, and Kundula Geshi or what she had in the city is.
So, my name is Geshema Dawa Dolma, and I did my classical Buddhist monastic education from Thosamling Nunnery, which is just a few kilometers away from here. And then I completed my Geshema degree, which is the equivalent degree to a PhD degree in a Western sense of the word. I completed my Geshema degree in 2018, and in 2019 I completed my compulsory Tantra education too. And then from 2014, along with my Geshema studies, I've been working and helping here in Thosamling in different capacities as a teacher as well as a Tibetan language teacher too. So this is my introduction.
근데 아니 단나도 나체들아 나체래 남성 그 시에치도다 남성 이마지니 지치니 남성 좋아 땅도 좀 그런데 이제 레인도스라 당한저 말로 니시자랑지 아니 labjo 치고레스 디얼티 맞아 칼리 림바친다 두라타리 로리 아니 파신 아니 오마든 조진 칼리 도디 오레스라 근데 있잖아 니만이선 전에 안쪽으로 참 좋아 땅도야다 근데 이래 lab지 있잖아 마레스라 이내 안아서 강의 주윤체디 이렇게 좀라.
So as a student of Buddhism, and in my experience, Buddhism is not an instant fix to anything. So as I've spent like almost 20 or more years studying this in the classical monastic education, I've realized like this is a gradual process wherein like I had to study like a lot of different texts before I was able to come at a true understanding of like what is the meaning of Buddhism. So when I had to study texts such as like the dialectics, the great perfections and so on, different topics. First I would like to the lamsang yongi mari lai di. So we should not expect like an instant fix or an instant like we should not hope to get an instant understanding of Buddhism when we come to a teaching, because it is a gradual process. I would like to warn you about this beforehand.
지난해 나쇼나로가 저 가르쳐오라는 저 심바끼리다 심바자는 고치디 셰서나 다가란디고라 나쇼나로 때는 저 팅이도 이나 찌디 하코와서니 많이 버디 카르 진짜 카르 단 파체르리가 당도 녀마자가 빼도도 좀 잠시 빼셔 먹으셔라 디가는 파 진생가는 제가 다리디 타로 디 제샤 삼나야 산이 메지기 쭈버저 수수상도 야 많이 버려 차례 근데 빠팅 소도 그래서 근데 인자 안에 로마 먹어름 거거스.
So in Buddhism, when you study Buddhism, it is not like studying the other sciences or any other subject, because when we study any other sciences or any other subjects, we learn a few terminology, we learn a few new terms, and then we learn a few new concepts, and then we get a rough idea, or we have a basis wherein like we think like we understand what this is about. But then in Buddhism, like reasoning is very important. So in Buddhism, like just learning a few terms doesn't work, because this since Buddhism comes from like India, the Indian classical like masters, they always like debated about the meaning of like each word. So like for instance, if you stay in a teaching today and you hear a new word or a new term today, and you feel like you have an understanding of this term, but when you debate about the word and then when you analyze it with reasoning, then this word, it changes its meaning and has like you gain a deeper understanding of the word, or it takes on a whole new meaning when you study Buddhism.
단나도 단나슈 단나게글라디아 나슈 츠벤 츠니 돈도이너라 돈조라 나집든 츠니 돌로도인다 간조 체리도 템버로 차고 체리나에 집어쳐고라 체리나에 집어쳐도 이네 미 토마토 되게 상무시로 따야돼 하고만데 군조게 체리나로 실로게 직다지셔서 되게 집어만 버쳐고라 되게 가르디 파푸 푸덴도고라 티나싱 간조 나슈에 디로기 코나서 뉴모도 간데 간지 지기도 간데 빵고도 된댔다네 아니 된대지는 뭐 아니 간조 장고 레스나.
So in this sense, like Buddhism is almost not different to the approach that like science takes in like analyzing things, because in science, like logic and reasoning is the basis of like is the basis of their knowledge, in acquiring knowledge. So in Buddhism, like the reasoning and logic is used to study the mind and to study the nature of the mind and to study like the affliction and their effects on the mind. And it is always studied with reasoning and logic.
지당이 추래 zamligana 당 추른담데라 이슈시 같이시 인디션nombe 추슨 상마 mambujures 내가 저 추루 디야시르라니 게 라토야즈마레스라 내가 zamligana 니 칼라담네 칼라디 야시르라니 라토야나 수수수 볼라트마데 수수가마가 딘데로 샤워레스라 수수 가리메바인데 디치 치네디고레스 이네다 수 나쇼자니지나 가도 나초레디 칼라오는 가도 추레디 갈라 지당이 대시디 가르자오나 가서 샌드 반조왔다야 디소인데 가는 조왔다는 가나서부터 진유모도 소망부지요디 디파 조왔다는 로바 야가비 쇼라바 쮸투에 진데지라면서 나초데 아니 추레스라.
So since there are a lot of like different religions in this world, to say like this religion is the best or that religion is the best, it doesn't make sense. For instance, like when we talk about like what is the best food in this world, and then it doesn't make sense. Like everybody has their own taste, everybody has their own culture, their own food that they like. So this depends on the person's like taste or their own dispositions. So likewise, so it's pointless to argue about like what is the best religion. But now, like when we talk about Buddhism, the term Buddhism, when it's translated into Sanskrit and Tibetan, it's called the Dharma, or like Chö in Tibetan. And this word, it means, in Tibetan, it means to correct something and to transform it. So this is the ultimate meaning of Buddhism, to transform your mind. And to transform your mind means to abandon the negative like emotions that we have and transform them into positive energy or positive emotions.
지단 아니는 저기 단남배기 최토는 신앙을 들어오라. 유모 투순에 먼저 둘레셔라. 아, 답변은 투순도 가서는 되셔야 시당 빙무순도 투순 쪼든다. 직강이 우선 진짜 쪼도 아니 투순도 잡으랬어라.
So in Buddhism, it is taught like that all the source of our suffering comes from the three poisons or the three negative afflictions. And those three negative afflictions are attachment, anger or aversion, and ignorance. And these three negative mental afflictions or like disturbing emotions, these three are said to be the source of all the suffering in this world.
세상 딱강에 몸보지는 좀 재미가 수수기 그냥 쓰이네 대원들라 대원들이 대화도 당이 대원들 좀 팀에 동행이는 거 봐주고라 쓰기야 되나시 알아서 대원들고 대화디 칸데스도 하마오네 아니 랑간도 팀이 wan게라 아니 전서 차배원 게래 난 전서 시랑이 온 근데 이거 강에 몸보지 차리고 그랬으라 강에 몸보 뭐야디.
So we face like the suffering in this world because even though all of us we want happiness, we want like well-being, but we are unable to identify like what is suffering and what is happiness, and this is because like due to attachment, due to anger, or due to ignorance, somehow like even though we pursue happiness, we end up like suffering. This is because due to like these three negative afflictions that we have within ourselves.
나시기 지다게 감자메가나 산다마를 지당이라 이니 빼빼된 나시기 가지고 땅 하나서는 되시나 팀무데 되게 아니 두순도 와서 되게 아니 강이 망보죠 그랬어. 근데 인자 빼는 간대로 제라나 가지고 지 나산다마를 요버들 때는 아니 참 해직 해 디아시르라니라. 근데 라토야 말 나살라 빠미 해 때고 바나시기 가라서 차다모선 마빵발아야 안 소소르다. 들은 이보를 열었어. 마빵에
디 연종은 직승그
no
디 님볼에 디
님볼에 엔디돌다
말마 디 연종은 직승난다 맨다
아 페나 알아서 차다모서 열어
no
차다모서 들라 아니 찍기 Diba Paya Chevala Tashin Damara Stamra, Karanyambo, so the Penapena, Pekunda Savajin, Kosovo Gumga, Chavatawa, Dilapanyambo Energy, Mudibo Gomala, so the Deva Pang Cheva, and Timu Rojina, Shira Zoya, Kondo Pechua, Nisora. I think can Ben never in chicken, never chim, Medeva in the China, had the Dia, should this salon and James, Kunatala Paki, the Zogobanashigi, Maranzola Chadamos, Caricia, Tilapa Pango.
So, just as like you cannot prescribe a single medicine which cures like all illnesses, when you say like when somebody is or when there is an illness, there is a certain medicine that works. Likewise, like these three like negative like afflictions, or let's just call it the three poisons, there is no like one single antidote that we can prescribe, wherein like which helps you to abandon these three poisons, get rid of these three poisons in our mind. So like for attachment, you need to learn to dochala nyembo khanteng or somre.
Mutubo Malaysia. The Shalading on the Semi, you got an UDP, 8 once to one. Titoning on the Raya Tabjeta, and Dipoma Saura.
To abandon, as an antidote to attachment, we have to learn to see. We have to learn to look beyond the appearance, and then as an antidote to anger, we need to learn to cultivate tolerance, and then to as an antidote for ignorance, we need to develop wisdom in ourselves. So there is no one single antidote that works for all of these.
Then any Yambushi Jessasila, then there's another piece of Zamatana, Kaila, another Yere, Nazula, the big things of Janga, and Mahashi Mashomara. In a touch of the Leo Tarmujil, the Leo and Anzu chicken, Shigore, Digalanganzo, Susu part of Digalangat, in this Tarinati, Apuchunsu, Tarinis, Alani, the Tay, Sayan Dovista, Yamangati Galasana Tamahin, Pekanye, Tarinati, Apucha, today they were kind to Anzoni, Dylan Zombadi, hello, turn the Demacharestra.
So even though in the Buddha's teachings or in the sutras, like the three poisons, they are further like explained to be they are further like classified into like 20 nishukas this one these three poisons are further classified into like 424 different like sub poisons, but and then like these 424 different sub poisons, they have like each of them have like different antidotes. This is the teaching of the Buddha in detail, but now for the purposes of this course, we will not go into detail like in that much detail. For this purposes of this course, it will be better like if we are able to cover like the antidote to these three main poisons, and then like when you come here with some expectation, and then when you leave this course, if you get the feeling that you have a basic understanding and somehow you have a small change in the way you think, then like we will feel that like we fulfilled the purposes of this course. So even more than like 424 in the sutras, the afflictions, they are actually like classified into almost like 80,000 niti, giti, shidong, 84,000 different like negative afflictions in the sutras. But now, for purposes of this class, we will not go into that much detail.
Today, in the Tangazu, Chichen and Chile, Chile, in some of the Kalakawich Restaurant. Chichen and that shouldn't use the Shinala Shopani, Gundabota, Karakarachi, Susola Tajin Ra. The chicken at the Bewitch hours. So, Dingazu, Lord Dowaja, Anzu chicken, Lord to Jachi Majueda. And this is chicken, Roshani do go in a red, they were in a red, near in. So, you do this, Shulu shoes, Pangazo, shooting and shooting part of a chim restaurant. Only Di lo di zang zo sangdo zo konanda khandi khandi ko taji che do de na ani ngan zo ji kalo di ba ma sa ya ra o dinde ge ni pendo yres dinde insa shojin ta wa na zo le la bo resra su khar che ta ra mi chu in pi shimba ji lang zo ji shu mi zo chen ro go ya ma su lo san ko na jira o di la ni taji che resra.
So when we hear or when we hear about like engaging in dharmic activities, sometimes we have this feeling like this is something difficult to do. This is something that is difficult to engage in. But like in the true sense of the word, if we like analyze it carefully, this is not something like that is hard to do, because dharmic activity in the end it resides with oneself. So in the 24 hours that we have in a day, if we are able to introspect all the actions that our body, speech and mind have, then if we are able to somehow restrain ourselves from like taking part in negative actions, then this is taking part or engaging in dharmic activity.
ngazu sama kibu deora kibu deina su shogi ya lambani tang zo ko no ju bora taringa lambani ani taringi kina mele pen to de be bora ngara pen to kan to ju tu chios te matu ne ngere mele no chi gi misra tende sama da shogi tamo ya lande ne kunu dinde chikini ani su ta chi gi ya lande su kan de ge ro de chi gi na gomje gi na khari chi na re ni pash nigu ba lega dora da sam su lega do dina lega lero che lero do la chambu che na re ani pa chi chebi nego so hasan na darwa chi da ko zare sun da de mai ke lega karina tambo che sama cha che ani ta su gunda ta lega ni ma khar che ne su tambo che ya ko che gunda ba load na so na go do di semba chi wo ta ngon tam tende de ma ya bo chi chin san chi san lo che ra as gunda ina da su ma ni na chi wo kura mila tupa ma je chi wo che su lega tambo che de che ina su gi pe gunda ni na chi wo ku ya do de chi li wo ra til ani su ni ma khanda chana ge ba sa na ge wa ya ko sa ya resra.
Yes. So as we all as human beings, we all pursue happiness. So as we wake up in the morning, it's important that we establish a good intention about how we spend the day. So a small example will be to establish the motivation or the intention that when you wake up early in the morning, to have this like attitude that if I'm able to help others, I'm going to help others. But if I'm not able to help others, at least I'm not going to harm anyone. So if you start your day with this like simple motivation, then like this is dharmic activity too. And then like in our daily lives, with this motivation in the morning, then if we go to work, and then like at work, if you like do it with like a pure heart, if you perform your job with a pure heart, without cutting corners, without fighting with your like co-workers, and doing it, giving it your best, then this is dharmic activity too. And then when you come back, even when you come back from work, you sleep better.
세상 저기 나라도에 미칠 해줘라. 다 미칠 해다 저 끼어다 희어다 되지 보는 거들 라마스 끼어 말아. 간디스 조고선 싫어. 땅은 좀 미치기 띠 버루랑 알아서라다 수수 간디치 야고스 삼나 두제체선 팅알아서 라발레르스. 근데 인자 아니 미칠에 직 나나서 도토로 쳐되는 니마 세게 치트다 까마다 되는 조로라. 근데 인자 다리처럼 니마 직 미치 야고 치트나 산이 니마지 아니 칼리칼리 아니 다와로 샤고 되는 로마 보친 되게 조로라. 근데 안처럼 미치 한자 미 야고 치 제디가 때는 땅 가지고 나베 추도는 시와이나 안처럼게 레 야고 지사라. 레 야고 지사할 때는 그냥 기어시마이나 직 된죠. Luden tayana ani chigi chene zangsa jila chegi ani kalole ya ursa resra.
Yes. So birth in this life, like birth and death, this is two certainties over which we have no control. So when you are born, it's sure that you're going to die. These two facts nobody can escape. But the in between, this is life. This is what we have in our hands. But in our daily lives, we might feel like life is this absolute thing, like this long journey, this like absolute thing. But then if we analyze it, then it's a momentary thing, life. Like it passes second by second, minute by minute, day by day, and this is not something absolute. There is no something absolute called life, actually. It's about how you spend like each second, each minute, each day. So in Buddhist, so from a Buddhist perspective, we say like with good intention, if we are able to engage in like positive actions, or like let's call it virtuous actions in between like this period between life, between birth and death, then we believe like you have engaged in dharmic activities, and then in the next life you will take like a good rebirth or a rebirth in the higher realms.
그래서 단단히 나도 가만히 야부치를 생각해라. 대변은 미두어지나 담보네 쇼게 알란디니 지기 다 컨트롤을 실랑 아니 남일을 투버도 제 보고도 제면 가리나도 줄 투버도 제 네 파도디 내가 지디가라 지기로 버터만 마참 되고 집어요 말아. 근데 이제가 아니 지기가 집이리나야 하산난다지 마치 아니 지 고자리 순서에 나를 주마시에 나 가리는와 근데기 내가 지치 아니 다 근데 지는도가 아니 딘디실 제어라 때는 수로바다 도 sama 마가셔로 남이 빙자이나레 안치기 로바이나레 수 미 이슐로 따이나 미 sama 거에 미 아보요 말래 셔거라 갈리 코라시도 나로라 티스미파 지 두자가 시즈고야다 보다 아니 지 카디나 수로 토토 본유데 라미 카타야 이케시 처럼에 지 온차도 슈춤부지 요에네 카두 처럼에 디스페리도 토니라 오늘 대 담바기 처럼 가고 치니라고 말라 수주칼로 제와던데 배 이치니지라고 말라 근데 인상 남주인 호람이 야보지 수수기 팅 러차니도 가르쳐와이나 그냥 로보로모 마로 러차나 강이 되도록 버치니 마라이래 그냥 수수기 파강이 기파 슈가던 남선치기 하치니로라 미츠이 치치라 그래서 근데 인도 남수 젠데 아니 수수기 야고 치야디 베케쳐머르 디 가르데올라나 아니 하나저기 미스 나로를 집으면이 딱 주진 근데 치차고 그랬어요 수야고 쳐와이나 두자 쳐와이나 디기 나 마치와치네 아니 선부서 강이 먹부지 태워버렸어
기후에 유주진티 양용 직선한다.
기후에 다긴 건저기라 얘들이라 수수기 쇼기나 람바네 아니 고다 보던 거 야고 채와이나 라 티수수 미츠나로 지무에 지저로 차고 니레니레 삼다한다 시고 검제 시고 제마도네라 아주 기불레디가 인지민지티 페션 응음마보지 큰 처음에 녀야요라 라 디칼나 수수기 삼다한다 수수기 제나치다 아니 아주 수도고르마도 기무마보지 큰 아주 파긴 녀가도에도 저다 칸에 아주 기불레디 녀야요라 네금네금 하와이 인선데 시행이야도다 지 trotaveru then this is word who devakatu baji jibuji rai khabar.
Yes. So now until now we discussed about like about someone who engages in like a virtuous activity or like in dharmic activities, and now like if we take the complete opposite example, now like imagine someone who wakes up early in the morning like full of anger, and they fight with their own family members, their immediate like parents, sons, daughters, and then like when they go to work, they're cutting corner, they're engaging in corruption, and they're lying to their co-workers or their customers. And this person, when he comes back home, like he's not able to sleep well. And this kind of person, even if he has friends, like it's just for like a short period of time. These friends are he or she will not be able to like find real friends. And even in societies, somehow like due to like his negative actions, he will somehow be shunned from society, and he will not be able to take like active part in society. So with these two like contrast of examples, we can see like in life, the source of happiness is not something that comes from above, or that is not something that is ready-made and that can be bought from a factory. So the source of happiness, it just depends on like the intention that we have, and the intention that we have, and how we behave with others, and it depends on our own actions. So this is the teaching of Buddhism. Like happiness depends on yourself and your own actions.
지금 점점도 찍고 내도 스테너라 누도 쇼 뭐나 쇼지 지오요 삼 같이 삼보라 근데 우선 제가 누래야 되는 거라서 카트카트다 지나 차주나 지금 회관도에 잘라녀에 근데 벤토고르 니야 되지부 근데 지부지 나도다 칼로다 생 대화들아 라카고르스라 니에 말스.
So some people as they accumulate like wealth and possessions, then they have this mistaken idea that like maybe like wealth will bring me happiness, but of course wealth and possessions, they are important, and it can help you to like achieve a lot of things, but wealth and possessions cannot really be the source of long-lasting happiness or ultimate happiness.
가정은 배다드네 미추부드네 있는 셈발라페 강미체디니 된 레스토랑 근데 지부지게 지기 셈발레 대와라야 되는데 칼에 가버렸어 아 가시 갈라는 땅 현라죠 아 땅다 현라다 고서드네 여에는 땅 앞에 교회에서 상고렸어 안디라라 베전체 베 마보까지 안디라이나 다음지 지부시 나도 가버라.
So wealth and possession cannot be the source of like lasting happiness, and this is evident by the example of a lot of rich people who are like very, very unhappy, and we can see a lot of rich people who are not happy, and then some people, they have this misconception that maybe fame and like a high position, this will like bring me happiness, and this is not the case too.
사무기 대화도 먼저 동의스간 되요라 근데 다른 얘기 때 두가지네 캔서도 미스나고에 땅아 미스 끼고 치우사이다 띵이 마트어티 있어 대화들 처럼 참여 상도 담을 땅이라 나 끼고 메라 지지디 치고데 가르 가서도 가르 상고도 온디야 직선달라더라 가서는 게 가는 디가나 상도 땅 주거라 아무튼 남도 상도 땅고 말에 끼고 가네요 끼고 이제도 진 세고 봐 지금 끼고 소소소 가르 상에는 담아라시느라 나 끼고 왜 진지 데레상고들은 소소 삼색하래는 미래를 지나가시다.
So since we are all the same in like wanting happiness and not wanting suffering, I would like to put forth a question to all of you, and I would like to hear your like thoughts and answers about this, because I really want you to think carefully about like this. And the question is like, what do you really consider like to be the source of happiness, or what do you consider like happiness in your life? Because due to like maybe like cultural or societal conditioning, we really never really analyze like what happiness means to us or what real happiness is. So I would like to hear from each one of you, like what do you consider to be like happiness or like the source of happiness?
When
I can help others.
Any other?
When I'm healthy and have enough. Also my mind is also in a healthy state, not only the body, also the mind.
Lubujibu mayimba seme deboyena ninga dila digido sorgidas.
Happiness for me is like do whatever you want to do, be free, just don't hurt any other being in the process. Just do whatever you want to do.
소소 가르치니 두네 치스 아니 라완치니 데스 드니 소소 메지나라 조림 가르치네 미신달네 마게스.
For me, it's also getting up in the morning and checking in with myself, the way how I'm talking to myself, and therefore how I'm talking to others, and how I'm acting towards myself, my body and my mind, everything, the way I eat, and therefore be able to give to others as well. And it really starts with taking care of what's inside of me to really feel happy. And for example, I'll talk down to myself. How can...
쇼갱하고 랑도 좀만네 니 소소소소라 다수 간데도 소소소소라 니 삼수 간데도 디지털스라 아니 소소소소라 수 메라 당해야 되는 마치 소소소소 냠 마치스라 아니 소소 칼라 가르사기 딜레 토난 치고야지 아니 then what did you say about others?
Yeah, then it starts with when I take care of what's inside of me, the afflictions and everything, how I treat myself, that reflects on the outside. This is how I
소소 나옹나옹로라 니다 녀몽 강축 되죠라 디치라 마테 치라 니 쩌바나라 칼라기 루기 쩌바나라 마테야체 어딘데로 치라 니나 디 삼도 당기스
Not so easy as it used to be. Let's say like this, I think the most happiest state, conscious and that I can imagine and remember was when I was a child. And everything was just effortlessly. Waking up, being alive. It wasn't without suffering, but the suffering was not clinching. I was not linked to it. I was just pure love. I was really loving life, everyone outside. And I had this this deep need to make everyone happy, to see everyone happy. All people, sick people, I had this need always to go exactly to these people and to be with them, to hug them, to love them. That was just happiness. That was just unconditional feeling love, not related to be something, become something, have something, do something. It was just a state that was just there. And it's not that easy anymore.
맞어.
Yeah.
다 디오델라 렌제 렐라보민도스 땡원냐마이나 딜라 렌젤라나 렐라오 진짜도 서레스 단다 잡데오민도스 아니 예나에다 모랑 깁슈 가도 좋은스나 지바인데 부춘주인데 좀 좋은스 가드드니 지케 베전로 케체오민도스야 아니 소소다 선보인바 소르도비도스 아니 이나에 모라셈 노노라 아니 미술라이네 요라 미강가 기부 용에 기부 수액이지 늘바든데 축심볼리기도스 민네바 미초보든데 수이네 어든데 라이니 소와든데 지부 퍼주디 데와 주나삼네 소 축심볼리기도스
Feeling and receiving love and feeling peaceful inside. As she says, I never feel like that at all, only sometimes, very hard.
그런 게 디길라나니 잠다 제와도라 잠다 제와 파테 잠다 제와 출린 딘데로지라 소르기도스 아니 셈 나노라 시디에나 아니 지부 소르기도스 이나이다 디 그런 게 뭐는 송와도야 promotion다 디 대상 아니 다 소와디 레기민도스 참삼마시 레기민도스 시디 소와디
To me, ultimate happiness is to be the manifestation of higher consciousness, to be the channel through which love flows. I guess together is to first be appreciative of what we have in life already, and practicing giving love and being kind, and giving love first to ourselves, learn that, and then give to others, and dedicating to a higher purpose that is not associated with my own success or my own well-being or my own wealth.
더 그런 게 디길라나니 지당기 셰바 남기가서 메즈게 디기 셰바도지라 딜레하도지는 문진치게스 셰바 토도지라 인 셰바 토디 칸데레라나 셰바 토디 주네 인 미창마라니 잠다 제와 디데 밀레테 토에도지 아니 디니 수수라 강여와딜라 아니 다 appreciate chetuye roji odinde roji ani dine ani sheba to yoba nangshin yora tendamla tendam tenchimbo roji ra soso mezedina la chesegi ju dindela ni madawa dinde chila ditsigis
I think happiness is something that also needs to be cultivated. So gratitude is a big part, I think. Also being connected to one's purpose, to one's talents, and finding ways to unfold them in order to serve. And feeling also as a feeling of connection, of connectedness, connection to something higher, connection to each other, to other humans, and connection to Mother Earth, like being able to live in harmony with Mother Earth.
Dini Kurangi dijilana ni chik khalagir tatagi kirang sungu ready-made yomar lecho cultivate chego re la dindi rochi sungu dra dini tine same jora de kechim botongu dos digi la dala ani sosogi da lengi gi nuba rochi ra talent o dinde da ani de di gyune da dila sosogi mizina la tön rochi ra tönda chimbo ro dinde rochi ani se de be kechim bores ani dingi gi gyune ani mi soso chizola shapshu khande chedu do di chik thalam se ge chimbo thong dos digi chedu ani chik de ani ta soso le lawa tönda ta soso le lawa sheba ro chi nyam do ani di ta lo ni o ro ji yo so chik ani dinyam do ani mi soso phazo lo ni o yo so chik ani dinyam do sumba de ani ta nganzo sa wala jamling mother earth di jamling na ani lo ni o yo chik o dinde ro chi 다 고육도 여라 고육님도 아니 로니오 요지 근데질라 아니 상마 되서 상마 시든 요다 어딘데로 질라니 해피니스 지기스
I think when I feel most happy is when I feel most present, like here and now, and when I'm like being helpful to other people, so it's both. And that comes when, like, I think often we think our happiest times when we were children, because children are completely present in the present moment. They're not overthinking the future, overthinking the past. So if we can go back to that childlike state, and meditation is the best tool, I guess, then that's when I felt most happy. Like, and nature can also be catalyst for that presence. And connecting other people, anything that surrounds us in you.
ni kurangi dijilana ni tanda taga rangla ni lo dinne thuna dil digi do chigis ya de maung bai ma do pachi chiden ma che o de che ani shindaji kurami da roba che ge lo do jile roba che de rana ani dila ni di digi sorgi dus ani kurangi shindaji khalas na pu chunju indu zambayra ta tagin kurang kibu dula di tanda dizu taga rang la edra pu chunju indu zamba ani lo di da pese tende do jiora maung sheda samam go di shin zomen pe kibu sorgi dus tende do
Okay, so for me, first of all, I think I don't know what happiness is. Because sometimes I feel like happiness is when I feel quiet and relaxed and calm, like in meditation. And sometimes I think happiness is when I enjoy what I do, like I feel joy doing things while I do them. So it's a bit confusing for me. Because you can feel quiet but not feel joy like at the same time. So I don't know. So I'm like, these are my two options.
kurangi suna ta tezom yes tanda je khadu ju shu do min dosra dani moram ani 기부라에 되게 참다 간대로지로 저렇게 들었나 쿠심보다 니 심벌 흘려다 딘데지 인도 zamba니 그저 딘데로지 저렇게 두스 한 삼삼 소소 내가 가르치되 나 데라 도와도지 리기다 도와딜레도 zamba니 데디 데오디 해피니스 레디 저렇게 두스라 이네다 단다 삼삼양 쿠심보 요나이 롤효보 요나양 심농로라 디기레 대왕원이 지어라 디 저도게 민두스 아니 제삼 모란다 디 태좀라 요스
Yeah, I'm not sure what we mean now by happiness, but if we mean I would be looking for as some like you said, like everybody's looking for happiness, then I think it would be also accepting of whatever is. That would be my type of happiness. But when I physically feel happy is probably when I share time with people I love, or I just think of them.
ता मिसंग दिगी दे देगी रिलाय जोरा दी इना दा नि खोशिरा दिने के लाया मेसिया इने खोगिलाना ता सुसु खारगेन रो खारचुने केंगे खारचुना एरा दिला दोंलेन लाना खेलेन रो चिचेतुना 다가랑 라니 코란 디 디지기스 대화라나 딘디로 질지기스 anyone left
For me, happiness is definitely finding a sense of peace and equanimity within myself and connection with a larger energy that surrounds me, and moving through my life with intention and with purpose. But ultimately, the ultimate happiness I found in my life comes from moments when I'm helping other people find peace and equanimity and purpose in their life. That is the happiness by far that outweighs all of it for me.
kurangi digilana ta semnala shidi dojura shidi da tangyum gi chowajila ni ngunjin chiges ani di shidi da tangyum di yawala ni kulung di package mo thong dus ani shidi da tangyum di khadu yong dulana ni kurangi mishindala roba che mishindala de dogi ni shidi da tangyum gi chowaji tuntuna ani dila ni digilana ngon ngunjin chiges
There's this Tibetan proverb, right? There is no way to happiness. Happiness is the way. Which sounds so easy. And
Can you repeat?
Repeat it? There is no way to happiness. Happiness is the way.
Ale. And kurangi lana to pevana tambejiyoras. Digi tobe la droegi ni lamjiyo maris. Digirang lamre lani lapsijiyoras.
Right. And it kind of comes out when the heart is really open. I mean really open. Also the mind. When the states are just receivable, like a little bit out of conditions, which is really hard because most of the satisfying moments are coming from these conditions and attachments after some state, I don't know. Because we learn, we educate, we connect, we share, we love, and we get dependent. No? I mean, I feel also love. I can relate to so many things you've all said, so actually all of them, but it's so dependent on, that it's just given, that it's available, that it's there.
kurangi shinda sangma ilagyo inyamdo da mudhu yes ni dende doret dini kharsa dende dosons tagido
For me, happiness would be like a continuum of some stuff. It would be starting with accepting reality as it is, anything that happens, and then focusing on what is under my control, which is mostly my thoughts and deeds, and then continuously trying to be a better person, and with that, trying to help the people around me inside.
kurangilana da loi jundo jura dila chebado chi ani tangobogirang shin da reality khande yune tagarang toy dinner jilani muzi chigis
근데 다 경상매 배 소소소게 소게다 기분에 다시다 지부스 간다지다 세계 의미들아 소소 배 그런 슈차우chen 상담이 디 레나와디 투치스라 이 뒤에 가르친 참말하면 염도 주어있는 그런저 나로로 파츠야 상담에 디콜레디 하고도 디디르셔면이야 참만 염도 옆에 가 기빈지로 체시더라 근데 미치글링에 저런 찡알라는 찡마도 구마를 콘드로 봐서 구마라 참만 염도 주어있는 찍찍 파츠 지오제 빼고 쳐라 알아 콜라디 디진서르샤 디딜레드르샤 마디모도 상품도 그 삼에대야 진세부선 참만염도 지내시 아주게다 남베기 쳐도 시에는 아주 쳐로래 저거라 찍찍을 봐치네 아니 쳐도 상담단단은 좋아다요 지 디데로 차오르 근데 이제 저랑 참에기 수수기 세마 칸 샤브리 강이 중요해 아 손남보다 투지 시선 그런 지단 신유의 전에 상담단을 빼면서 yap으로 시작했어. 오늘들아 참을 지 펜션인데 내가 빼야 부르다. 아니 빼야부터 참을 투지 시스.
So thank you for sharing your insights and sharing your idea about happiness. As I listened to all of you, I felt like a great joy in hearing like you have like I'm very happy to hear like many of you have this wish to help others, and your happiness, your idea of happiness comes from like helping others, and I wanted you to participate in this exercise as a group, because if I just ask someone like what is his or her idea of happiness and source of happiness, then I only hear from one person. But as we like share in a group, then we are able to exchange ideas, and we are able to learn from each other ideas, and we are able to like look at happiness from each other's perspective. So this is why we had this like sharing session.
근데 나로는 얘기 나라게 기분에 주제로 제가잖아 수수 미치를 생각 미치라 가르 뭐 가르 삼다 나가 미치 삼다 신도에 말이야. 제가 단도 저랑 미창을 삼다네. 아니 미치 삼에 고야지는 라고 내가 찍지라 파츠 빼면서 배 로라야 제로 알산다야들 페펜도 주는 됐어.
So as a solitary person, if you think about like happiness, and if you ask this question only to yourself and you answer it yourself, then there is not much scope for you to broaden your idea of happiness. So like as we shared with each other like our idea of happiness and our like idea of source of happiness, then we have this opportunity to learn from each other. And in Buddhism, this is what like Sangha is called, or like what dharmic friend is called, someone who like helps you along the path of achieving happiness.
근데스 아니 간주 다리 있단다 간주 단다 나란즈 삼수도 오단 저란즈 삼수 칸데도 안데 간주 띵알 수수 삼노다가 간주 저한테 수수 파즈 신나 안데데오레스 이네 간주 단다기 다리기 주제된 간주 제셀라네 소데 마레스라 디가라 지단 디나로라 아니 지점바 저다 진소 파제 투다 지단 베디 디 냠네 제토에는 오늘 거라 미야고 차야지라 지단 오늘 찍드네 example 나가나 냠네 제토마도다 저랑들 라레게마도 베체 코랑 몰라 나가나서도 좋았다 칸데스 당고 진세도 제바 페머스기 야고 레스라 근데 이제 단다디 간주 지단이 마시도 칸바도 마소 나가주기 지게 칼로 마시도 지차 근데 로티에체 따디가랑 간주 칸데 저거다 상이나이 미투니 만도 레스라 아니 디르가란 찬슬레 찍는 좀 만들어 되가란 똑바이네 체케지 티에다 라 나라이는 건지나 간시시지만 저는서는 내 부여기 아니 비즈치 인스라 근데 인상 저는 먼저 참이가 하루 버루 채워이나 수수 하다 만들어야 나란슬 로는 저도 투에다 아니 드리네즈도 방아란서 지부지간을 투에다 삼당다이나 바자체를 투에다 근데라 아니 펜토가 와 예스라.
So now, like as we are done with this sharing session, now I would like to talk a little bit about the text that we are going to study, called the 37 Practices of All the Bodhisattvas. And now this text is a very helpful text in the sense like it covers in detail like a lot of great topics in Buddhism, like such as the six great perfections and so on. But right now we will not go into detail about these topics. Let's just consider today's session as like laying the foundation to study this course.
지난이 단다 창조 유튜브 딱칼로 만도 이제 더치 TV 랜드랜다 만당 이 디나로 마체 마츠베시라 미두스라 그런 참 라주들에 딱다 지금 지금 남배기 취나가 시에지래 지단 예셀란 샹주선배기 쥐바로 차와라 지밀로 버체다 삼시체도 참 근데지나 쓰디 셔팅도스라.
So as I listen to the answers and your insights to this like single question, what is happiness to you? And then like I feel that in this text it covers like a lot of the same like ideas that you have about happiness and about the practices of Bodhisattva, because the main practice of a Bodhisattva is actually to help others.
니 데네르체 지단다 아무팅은 만도 서라미티.
So, 다링네 고수셔라.
친구 힘들어. 그런 것도 두가 네, 다딘디도 단다 저도 아주 그런 거 배야 볼래더라. 지 가시기 초시래다. 초시래데 베케치 뭐. 초시래데 메오이나 기부 거린 좀 당가 디샤 당가라 지 거린나 따따 상샤 상이 로들리네 디기부 메기 진짜 지금 좀 디차고라. 초시바. 단다스 콘도 가시길래도 어디 오늘 먼저 치는 로시나 초시발에도 뺏기 좀 보고라 초치바데 메와이나 더발에도 나 카메요 단디고 빼는 무로샤나들이 야이나 동동의 트트는 봉들이 당가메바지 가 대응은 치르라 단데도 디샤 따따레션 당당도 인데도 팀은 안수되게 가로 정말이야 이때 흘러로 차고라.
So before we study the text, as I heard from all of you, I would like to make a small point, and I listened to all of your like insights, and I would like to make a small point. Like human desire, it's endless. Like if we have $1,000 today, we need $2,000 tomorrow. If we have 5 cars today, we need 10 cars tomorrow. So this human desire, it's endless, and to counter this as an antidote, contentment. I would like to stress the importance of contentment, being happy with what you have. In the teachings of the Buddha, this is one of the main like cornerstones of happiness. So just as a small point, I would like to make this.
티체 아니 되게 군족이야 초 딜러도 로바치엘라 베스 사무치 코도 그 로바치엘라디가 칸데스 초 인지미 용우티는 로바치고에 지고 말이스라 미기 셈발라 강이 테딘게라 콜라라서 제체 미 네바제나 딜러 로바치에체 아니 지게 랑갈 로디니 긴고로 나서 베베시톤을 내려와 지게 모든데 잘라도 지고 쳐케는 니케 갈는 로바치에로 되려라 아니 가란다 지슈들 바슈 네바이나레 긴고이나레 다 칸다치 카레이나 가시 안 붙여져라 봐진 집 내버든도 근데 투에는 두줄랑도 로바체이나래 아니 지상도 단단도니 베 가시 캔서치든들 아니 갑자제는 근데 가는 거 로바 마버지 체르스라 근데 체는 아니 가 미칠 로바치투네 수나 집에도 다른 거 우리 나라야 같이 치투스 섬치리다 하빠도 미기 치는 저는 로바치로 치르라 되가라 그게 되가라 지금 nga chigi melan tene mainge ro ade samtan ar khongala rewaji jale nga khole chigi mandawa jinge des khole para kalo robachi ege nibaji yeta ngala rewaji tinde inza terenge di roba nga ta chigi ingame tinde lo chiwa ina pe abo resra terwa mi gangi chen robachi ro chila gora de inza mi gangi da nga chigi mela pa 마요 전에 이제 민이 다니시는 로봇이 간트 주도 제대 베케션 그랬어. 계속 kirana 디즈 만다한테 강이 되는 바데히 아버지라. 그 본당한테 디즈로 가면서 마시던 게 제대 올라와. 그 샘플 보고 말아. 가서 미 강이 지되는 걸로 저와처럼 와대 보라.
맞어.
조사입니다.
This is So as I heard from a lot of you, like many of you talked about like your idea of happiness being able to help others. So like I feel like in this like day and age, like there's this common assumption that like when you say helping others, you help them like financially or you help them with money. But like this is not the case. Like helping others can take many different forms. Like when someone is in suffering, like just offering them like a few kind words, that's a form of helping others. And never. And when someone is sick, like trying to offer them like help, that's kind of helping, trying to console them, like that's also helping others. And in so in Tibetan society, like this is like a common practice, like helping each other, like when somebody else is like suffering. So maybe like we need to broaden like our idea of helping others. Maybe we should not like narrow it down just to like help someone else financially. There are like we need to broaden our idea of like helping others.
Dia kompi shiso kompi do anda mandura. Pena ngara do ni chujugala ani amai pala do zui. Ngontu tumbala pomo mo ndir. Kuzo ro kochesa. Ani kunzu ta pajudo da ya do tega regang rutu mara. Ngontu tangir kunzu ro koche kunzu gengo ro rutu mara ngontu mo do. Ninga deni mo bodo nyura. Thamai tangir do ye. Te do ale sana nyima nga do mi gengo chtus nje ko chala khidro dishira. Ta lo biji dunchi jin sare. Chala ji ko tso khidro. Ni ro koche wala inda. Kungala len khajisa nga tanda lo jechi maya lasra. Chitanya kashila shitula ta gondra. Dindilan hagonda la. Munire da ni kashinga lo jechi me nga hasa khale ngasam. Jela ngal robo gomda nga tugu ila isra. Dinde ya shitula ko robo go de mi de kechi teke chamra. Kora gomda la ta.
So then like maybe like there needs to be like a sort of cultural sensitivity or like some sort of like understanding of the culture, because I would like to give this example. I would like to recount like something that happened to me when I was in Tibet, like as a nomad. Our parents, when we were kids, our parents used to say like if there is some other like nomad family and that other nomad family, they have only old people to look after the cows and the yaks. Our parents, they used to like tell us to go and help these old people to herd the yaks. This is like something that's in our culture, like to help each other and to help the older people. But when I came to India, and like I have this like imbibed in me. But when I came to India, I saw someone very old like carrying a heavy load on the road, and immediately my first reaction was to go and help that person. But it came as a shock to me when that old person said like, "What are you doing? I'm not even 80 years old now." So maybe there is a need to like there is a need to understand the culture, different cultural conditioning, or to have like a cultural sensitivity. But this is something that I would like to recount.
Jela tanda gengudi nga jela shibdira ta konganze yorobanyamda de kali ko ngala pe yero chida shimba ngala jela tsenyo adoro chi ngune pe chitero chi chama ngala chi chinde lagdo ambo ko hago yesma.
So even though his initial reaction was like why are you like doing this? I'm not even 80 years old. But as I got to know him, then like there came a point in time like he developed trust in me. And then like after a while, like he used to send me to like deposit his money in the bank, and then to help him like get his groceries. Oh, it was old nun. Not.
Cheta dide inde ta hanzo tanda chik khoran kare chisonda nazo de mambo chisana tanda ne kangi mambo chileda ra misina lo la chichena lo chunu gala ani kangi mambo thegi re ani ya kashi ki khala da mambo banga kande chegi na be sende chigi do tanda ki tisu chiu di su chiu yi choma do ni chigi de mambo tu ya mambo chitende na chiu mu ya ki gokai ro chik chegi do.
So as I listen to your like insights, one thing I heard like one common point of like your sharing was like this concern about like a past and future that you have. Like as young people, of course, you have this concern, and but maybe like focusing always on the past and the future is like closing the door on the present. So this is like almost like closing the door of happiness for yourself.
제가 가시기 갈란다 마음방을 두제지 중으로 지강해지 중으로는 사는 마음이 땅더라. 단다 강이 쓰시. 단다기 기우디에 기우면서 마음방을 내라. 지제. 가시 인gem은 대버기 강해지 중에 네 앉아야 된. 아디 강해지 중소는 마음을 해다. 그 강이 생각 강이 앉아 있거든요. 그래서 쇼쇼도 뒤에만 이내야 단다 가르치기나 디 기주디 기처럼 기주제. 단다 내가 가르치는 디 두자 마음에 디 야보 용서래 용서 말에 내가 가르치기는 디다지 참 제대 비키지 말으라 디다지 매 가르쳐 주는 줄는데 단다 가서 주 두자 찬지 사샤와이나 라 배나 가서 단다 투바로 자지 같이 부들라는 지 소소 그만데 그는 되게 주디처럼 장한 도고야 도다 아니 타마들랑 제 하시들이 계내니네 녀월 도고야 되게 주사고르라 근데 이제 소소요 나 강한테 지기라는 제 말 디기 니디치나
So, as young people, if you spend like your youth being anxious about like what future holds for you, and then like being hung up about like something that happened in the past, then and you are not able to live this present moment meaningfully, and then with this push and pull of the past and future, you somehow become unaware of your actions in the present time, and then like emotionally and mentally you are not in the present, and then like you somehow do some like something really like bad, which could be the source of like suffering, and this could be like instances of like going to jail for something that you did in the present, but like you are not mentally present when you are like committing that action, because you were being pushed and pulled by the anxiety of the future and the trauma of the past. So as in Buddhism, it is stressed like to focus on the causes and conditions that your actions will have in the present moment.
근데 안에 가서 다이 공도 시바나시 가서 가르치어 있느라 소소기 개체지 시어 있네 밀뉴도 뉴임들아 가지고 뭔지 봐시잖아 가시를 셈발을 포도야 되느라 그라 지단기 찍된 가서 나는 남도도 배 괜찮아라 지단기 찍들 배지지 너보다 직 서로 근데 요 말때 잠잠 가서 흰 거랑 배때 거랑 갈로 바샤테 되는 소도라 찍라 제장 개체신 날에 겨난주 때 날에 밀판도 당지기 진담주를 밀로로 따위는 아니 미 파일을 도와서 되거지 콩알 밀로 다서 가르치는 게 계시다 만디는 게 가르만디는 파일을 사는 뭐 땅 거에 쓰시다 제가 계시와이나 약고시야 지기 약고 표시다야 지금 파선도 남주이네 약보대야 그래서 배계심 다가서 터버지는 이게 닌 심바딘더라 근데 오늘 기침보다 아주 남도 남이 쉬는 파기들 믿으나 지금 남이도 쉬냐 남주들 두제 때문에 그걸 또 봐서야 되나 또 써야 돼 저랑 막아야 돼 근데 뭐 무실리 거라 근데 있는 알아서 수수수 이카를 지원은 수수로 따지치야 돼 배계심을 했으라 등에 알아서 삼발지 취래는 오늘 저도 수수수 알아서 셈을 따보지 셈 따지다니 되랬으라
So if I give you a small example, like even when we just speak a word, we need to be careful about the way we speak, because it's very funny, even though like words, they do not have like a fangs or they're not sharp as a dagger, sometimes like words can hurt other people, and like it gives like this feeling like, you know, my heart is about to break sometimes. This is the effect that words have on other people. And then like about the facial expressions or the way you carry yourself, this could be a source of like uneasiness for others too. So like small examples, if we are not able to live in the present and check our like, you know, check ourselves, the way we speak, the way we think, the way we do things, this could have like, this could be a source of uneasiness and source of like uneasiness for other people. So this is not nice. So this is why I say like dharmic activity or like engaging in the dharma, it's not something like something that is hard to do. It's very simple. It's in the end, it's the transformation of the mind. It's like working at like, you know, how you speak, how you carry yourself. And this is Dharma in the end. So up until now, like, are you able to process the information that we are trying to give to you, like the teaching? Is it? Are you able to receive it? Yeah. The translation, is it okay? Yeah. And the teaching, does it help?
Yes.
This is Geshema would like to ask you, like. Does this? That's the song.
Peda chin she was right, this Kodeuda. Anzo pay trouble the Dombani the nation, so Kumar is right. Unirda. Chance of the only Pento Chicago, Lapat, De La Uni, and Anzo Pentia, Yason and the William and the Lapatomba Lodon Diomar. Chance Tanta de Tomba the Lake, the socialization, the Harin Uriati, Tomba Tanjaman Komda. You can't de la Godenja ladies. Paduga la Pala Care Shira, and Hadi Giant, the Nijilas, and Dinka Pension to Gores. And the Ocean ended over Rasares. 나도 쉬고시 보고 나라 시기를 좀 시에 말했으라 나라서 파스 되게 가지지 시고도 시랑도 인데스도 상말 때는 좀 반해신 도라 안 캬는라 안데도 지 펜토도 했어.
I asked this question to you because I want to know if the way we are like conducting this class is it beneficial for you. Because if we go to the text immediately and we talk about Dharma, then we can of course go into like high topics such as emptiness, wisdom of emptiness and all this. But then this is not really helpful for you. And I want to get a feel, get a feel of like, and I want to explain to you like with examples, like with real life examples, how to like approach the Dharma. Not just like high concepts like wisdom and emptiness. So I want you to feel like you came to this course or this session and then you leave with something tangible that you can work with yourself. Yes.
지금 딱 그런 다디스는 그런 가평에는 산다시면 딜레데 레라보지니만 산다다다가 산코다다 지 기부 못하지 발라셔는 디데로 니마 되게 니마 답을 제 쇼긴 하고 내 본다 봐도 제 디데로 산 가나서 권유여라 지난테 디레 친들로 야지 돼야 된들 편도여라 이네 담보 안서 춘주신이야 야데디 피키치 모르시라.
So I would like to give this example, like when I was a young nun and we were like trained in the classical monastic education, then the first thing we are taught is like Buddhist dialectics, like the debating. And when you are taught debating, like we used to debate about like selflessness, emptiness, like such high and lofty concepts. But now when I look back, like I wish, like maybe we started with something small, something that we could work with immediately rather than like jumping to these high concepts. But of course, a classical monastic education is planned in such a way, like wherein like this dialectics, it actually has its purposes when you jump to the next lesson. But for purposes of this course, we do not have the time, or we cannot like spend so much energy into like learning these concepts. So it's better to work at small things that we can work with.
Gompa kainere tanda densa kalamandirwa sikki da koranga zu bajani ni lo da manta kala ni manga thudi ga zura pe dami ran khande jik ba tel zu bajani shoge no bonda pada ani tari khola zu sanye khola zu ani zu bajani zu ra tense danda ga sikki da satande de khar jaye na tebu thida yen tende deep de resra tanda densa kala na tanda zu shembarwa chasa ka tanda tsini tani kharina tende gi anga du ni ngara zala tende gi tsu me insa khayo lai su su 미치지나는 날 간디페인도 수 심바디 간데지 샤우도 디타가 카도 덴데지 장샤나 다시레선 도스라.
So this is not to say like Buddhism is not profound, but like when I was a nun, when we were debating, like we used to debate on like one word for days on end. Like for example, if you take the word like selflessness, then we used to debate with like different persons, like one day with this person, next day with another person, and this is like the deep and profoundness of Buddhism. Like you can debate about like this for days on end, and you will find like newer meanings. You will get like deeper insights. But this is not something that we have the time or the effort. We cannot invest the time and the effort in such a way. So like it's better to work with something that we can like take away from this session, which helps us to transform the way we live our lives, the way we think in our lives. Have you ever seen like the Buddhist debate? No? Thosamling.
Something so dura. But two just at the
Because if you haven't seen a Buddhist debate, if you see it the first time, it would look almost like, they're about to fight with each other with such arrogance, But they are not like arguing with arrogance. They're actually talking about like very like, subtle like philosophical and logical points of difference. If you are interested, like you can search it up on YouTube and you will see like what I mean. Some people when they see this, like they feel like monks, Buddhist monks, nuns, they're supposed to be peaceful, like calm, but when they are debating, like it's like they're possessed, So like from tomorrow, like we will start to study this text, and you wake up tomorrow at 5:30. Then you take part in the morning prayers and meditations conducted by the nuns here, and then after breakfast we will gather here, and then we'll start with the teachings. Even though like this text, it's only 37 stanzas long, we will try to like we will try to study each stanza, and then like if there is relevance, then we will try to consult other texts to gain a deeper insight into the meaning of these stanzas.
The Odikandro in some individual tokos, Anzo Chagwe, the Bekisham, that Topodisa Doshana, the Chagomos. In the night she came in like Madame of Kanchinichera, or the Lenzani, Council of Topodo, the Choinas, and the Queen Charachesra, and change to Sumbasha and Shivacha, Tuatin, and many are
As we study the text tomorrow, then I would like to remind you to note down any like doubts or confusions that you have as we study the text, because we have a question and answer session at 3:30 or 4:30, wherein like we will try to work with your questions, your doubts, your confusions. So I encourage you all to note down your doubts or confusions. Yes. And then like tomorrow from 6:30 to 7 after dinner we have the meditation session, and which will be led by Venerable Yangila, and then you will take part in that meditation session tomorrow.
Tene shimba kunzala chik thwa do adini tanda.
Now we are at the last 5 minutes of the session. So is there anything like you would like to ask before we end this session? Anything you would like to share?
Actually, could you give me a synonym for contentment? I'm thinking of this word all the time. Contentment you were mentioning before.
Synonym.
Yes, yeah, no?
I will look it up on the internet. the chokshe songra. Chokshe la tonjimigi namdang den de kariyores.
Ngazui chokshe la den deba chunga da choshe la. Deba chunga be indom sawe na kayamna. Choshe bala di tanda ngada le yid disha sami. Ko tanda de gola wara ti mi roba.
Tonjimigi namdang. Ta injinala ki jatira, yenda ngala ki jatim bikhirita. Satisfaction, but now Geshema is saying like in Tibetan, it's called chokshe, and it's choklana.
Choklana, danga dinde jindisha sameja. Ti chok, ta ti chosha, ta disha. Tele ma gom du tinta andisha sameja.
So chok is this feeling like or this like line that you put on your wants. Like this is my need. This is all I need. I don't need more. This is chok. Shit lana. She means to know your limits, like to know this feeling, like this feeling of satisfaction, this feeling of contentment, that I do not need more.
Tanda chidangi korang pesha wen tanda korang ta chubu khare ne chasa changde ora su ka mi da khare ne chama ta ngara ta changde ora kashi di deba makhan ngadile hi je je cho ngadile zupuri je cho ngadile ta de mi da khare ne ka dile ya ga je cho san su so le yudi ndeba khaw ma ti makhan ne ali shimba chi cho san tik di raya me bajile kale ro je sambar ka ngi ro thi de nga dinde khare ne nga di cho pa di cho sin ti be kale ra so le jile dishes ra khada mita kharen ta yesra tadi samay na sustiwer so mitin chini mashiba na lir khera donanda mandonanda dikyor so yoba ta dishes sanaji dichoshi de bekecham.
So personally, if you look at yourself, like you're an able-bodied person, you have all these senses that are working, and then like even with all this like faculties that are working, we somehow like have this wish, like I wish I looked better, I wish I looked like that, This is like not the way of contentment. And since we are born with this body and we're gonna pass away with this body, we have to work with what we have. And learning to work with what we have, now this is contentment.
가시니제 나도 실로도 통고도 미강이지 뭐라 배 안주 치는하고는 미전이니 미니도 깜바도게 라바도인데 통고도 텐도도 아마 나도 배 앞으로 시선 나도 하고도 그래 나 차선 차대지 나 로바치는 시도 계시는 시도도 알아 따따 디시선이 리기도 그래 디마이는 나 딜 파게디 야가도 디 초 파게디 텐데로 삼데는 디 라야미 지지 세말 강이라 저는 아주 미초도 통디가 수수게 땅한 건데 되지 마이네 be color tabiasha ngana chang hama les ya posasha ya khole ni je ko de mo ba dile ya ga chi ne shola ne to stick ngana je na phe thoda.
So basically having an appreciation for what you have, and a small example will be like complaining about having no shoes, and then you see someone without legs, and then like this put like things into perspective, and then like you have if you are able to widen your perspective like that, then you have the chance to work at like being content with yourself. Ta tharing dagas shana mara jeba simsa shindu dambaji de shawra. So then we conclude today's session with the prayer. Shukran kazir. Semge Rod. 31 Moa Jene Dubora.
Someone done this. Someone done that. Not very quick in the window. Oh, 13 days.
30.
Hare Rai Goye Shingon Bende Dewa Mali Juyin Niri Siwa Tenzen Jatso Ye Shebe Sendi Pade Denjuri Bende Saje Temba
Jatsu Da Kanchen Dozen Chue Tsuge Jen Jangwen Tishin Sambe Wange Je Shebe Tenjin Tile Je Ju Chi
Jiga Nije Ranzu Kama Ba Jiga Tili Chidi Kama Ba Jiga Nunzu Wanje Kama Ba Vijin Dukti Tili Shakti Shoye Shangju Zenju Rinpoche Maje Bana Jeje Je Jewa Nyamba Mebaye Konye Kondu Peo